Hi friends, welcome to today's session where we'll be discussing about the use of suspense account in rectification of errors. To start with, first, let us understand what is suspense account. So suspense account is basically an account to which the difference in the trial balance is placed. Means when you prepare a trial balance, writing all the balances of the ledger accounts and the cash and bank balances. After that, you try to total and tally the trial balance. If it does not tally, then that amount of difference would be put into an account called as suspense account for the time being, so that you can go about tracing errors and rectify those errors. Now, this particular suspense account is used to rectify normally all the one-sided errors, because one-sided errors will be affecting your tallying of trial balance. So we'll be passing entries through the suspense account for one-sided errors. And once you have rectified all the errors that are there in the books, normally the suspense account would get closed out by itself. So this is suspense account. Now with this idea of suspense account, I would also like to explain to you about the two types of errors. The classification of errors can be done into two categories, the one-sided errors and the two-sided errors. Now, errors which are one-sided errors are the errors which are there only in the debit or the credit side. As two-sided errors means errors which have effect on both debit and. Now, when there are one-sided errors, obviously the errors are on just one side and therefore it would affect the tallying of your trial balance. But two-sided errors will not affect the tallying of trial balance. Your trial balance would tally. Still, after that also those errors might be there in the books. Now, examples of one-sided errors are error of partial omission, where you partly record the transaction, partly it is not recorded, or it is recorded but not posted completely into both accounts. That is, both debit and credit has not gone. Errors of commission, and there could be other errors like omission to write the balance in the trial balance. From the ledger book, while you're writing the trial balance, you forget to write one of the ledger account which has a balance, or you write the balance but you write, instead of a debit balance amount, if you write it in the credit column, or a credit balance account being written in the debit column, or wrong totaling of the trial balance. Well, totally if you make a mistake. These type of errors will come under the one-sided errors. Whereas two-sided errors, the type of errors are errors of complete omission, error of principal, compensating error, and further other things that you can come across is when you post the correct amount on the correct side, but if you put it in the wrong account, like it should have gone, say, the Mohan account, debit side, 5,000 rupees, but instead of that, it has gone to debit side 5,000, but to Sohan's account. The account is wrong here. Or you have recorded the transaction amount in the journal only at the wrong amount. Or you record a transaction 2 times in the journal. The same entry recorded twice. So these type of errors will come under two-sided errors. For detailed understanding of these errors, you can watch my videos which I have created specially separately for each type of error. There are separate videos for error of omission, error of commission, principal and compensating errors. You can refer to that and get detailed understanding those type of errors in detail with examples. Now, once you've understood that how these errors occur, now we will go into the rectification. So the main point is that the errors might get identified at different stages. One, it could be identified even before you prepare the trial balance, and the other is after you prepare the trial balance does not tally at that point of time. You go about tracing and you find those errors. So now we will first take the errors before the preparation of trial balance and you're rectifying it immediately. In that, we can again classify them as one-sided errors and two-sided errors. If the errors that come across are one-sided errors, like When there's error of casting, casting means totaling. When you're totaling, if you totaled wrong, then the wrong amount is going to go into the ledger account. Or when you're posting from the substrate book into the ledger account, you post wrongly. Or when you're carrying forward from one page to another, the balances you carry forward the wrong amount, then those are one-sided errors, which you might identify even before you prepare the trial balance. Now, how do you go about rectifying such errors? Such errors which are of one-sided nature and which are identified before the preparation of trial balance normally is corrected by means of giving an explanatory note in that particular account where the error is. Now to understand it, I would explain it with few examples. So now look at this. Before you prepare a trial balance, you come across one-sided errors. First one example I'm giving you of error of casting. So the question here is there was purchase book which has been overcast by 10,000. Means while totaling the purchase book, how do you post that purchase book? Individually it will go into the supplier account in the ledger and the total of the purchase book for say every month will go into the purchases account. So like that when you were totaling in a particular month, you overcast by 10,000. You have totaled more. So 10,000 has gone more into the purchase account. So into the purchase account, the amount goes to the debit side. So debit side, 10,000 has gone extra. Now to rectify it, you have to reduce that 10,000 which is there on the debit side. So that is rectified by crediting purchase account. So while rectifying it, you'd put the amount of 10,000 on the credit side by giving the explanation like by overcasting of purchases book, now rectified 10,000. Whatever is the month, you can specify that month also here. So this is how you would rectify through an explanatory note in case of error of casting. Next, I will give you an example of error of posting. Here, take this example. Sales to X rupees 50,000. Posted to his account as 5,000. So there was a sale made to X. So to the debit of X's account, 50,000 should have gone. But when that amount was posted into X's account, it was posted, means it has gone to the correct side, debit side. But the amount gone is only 5,000. So 45,000 has not gone, only 5,000 has gone instead of 50,000. So there's a short debit there. So to rectify it, we have to give a debit for the balance so that the amount to the debit of X comes up to 50,000. So to rectify it, in X's account, you will give an explanatory note like this. The short debit for sales now rectified, 45,000. So that rectifies this error of posting. Hope it's clear. Now moving on, the third, error of carry forward. Now, question is purchase return book is carried forward excess by 5,000. So when there's a purchase return, you debit the supplier and credit the purchase return. But while carrying forward, you have carried forward excess from one page to another. You were carrying forward the amount. You carried forward 5,000 extra. So to the credit has gone 5,000 extra to the purchase return. So you have to reduce it. So to nullify that 5,000 credit effect, you have to debit it. And therefore, in the purchase return account on the debit side, you will have to excess carried forward now rectified 5,000. So this is how, when you have a one-sided error which are identified before preparation of trial balance, you would rectify it by giving an explanatory note. So I hope that is clear. Now moving back to the slide where you have two-sided errors that you've noticed even before you prepare the trial balance, like errors of recording while you recorded, or when you posted to wrong account, or there's error of principal or error of complete omission. Then these type of errors have effect on two accounts or on both sides. And then under such circumstance, we rectified by passing a journal. So to understand it, let us look at some examples. Here, before preparation of trial balance, two-sided errors. First, we'll take an example for error in recording. Suppose there was a credit purchase of a computer from Computer Mart for 25,000. So this would be an entry through the journal proper as computer account debit to Computer Mart account, 25,000 should have been passed. But they have recorded it as 2,005. So there's a mistake in recording this amount. So while recording only, the amount has been recorded wrong. So, and recorded less. So instead of 25,000, only 2,500 has been recorded. Now to rectify it, we are supposed to bring up this 2,500 to 25,000. So you have to enhance further by 22,500. So you rectify this error by passing the same entry, computer account debit 22,500 to computer marked account 22,500. Therefore, already 2,500 debited to computer, now 22,500 debited through this rectification error. When error rectifying entry, it will come up to 25,000. Computer mark was credited with 2,500. Now you have credited with 22,500. Therefore, the credit to credit mark has now gone to 25,000. This is how you can rectify this error in record. Now, I'll give you an example on error posting to wrong account. Take example. There was a credit sale to Mohan of 10,000. So, a simple journal entry. What would be the journal entry? We would debit Mohan and credit sales account with 10,000. But it was recorded as sales to Mohit. So while recording, they recorded as sales to Mohit. So it got recorded as Mohit account debit to sales. So by mistake, Mohit account has been debited. But whose account should have been debited? Mohan's account. So to rectify this error, we will debit Mohan with 10,000, which was not debited before, and we would credit Mohit because we have to nullify that debit which was given by mistake. So the rectification entry would be Mohan account debit to Mohit account. Clear? Now, going to the next example, error of principal. So when an accounting principle has been wrongly applied and the transaction has been recorded, at that point of time, how do you rectify? Repairs to machinery 2,000 debited to machinery account. So there was a routine repair to machinery. So those routine repairs are of revenue in nature expenditure, and therefore it has to be debited to repairs account. But what have they done? They have debited to machinery account. They have treated it as a capital expenditure and put it into the machinery account, which is wrong. So now to rectify it, we have to give a debit to the repairs account of 2,000 and we have to nullify the debit given to machinery by giving a credit to machinery account. So through this rectification entry, this error of principle would get rectified. Now moving on, one more of complete omission. If by mistake you have completely omitted to record a particular transaction, then there's also a two-sided error which you noticed even before you prepare the trial balance. How do you rectify it? Take this example. Depreciation on machinery 5,000 not provided in books. So you forgot to provide depreciation of 5,000. What do? You record it. So when you provide depreciation on an asset, you debit the depreciation account and credit that asset. So that is what we have done here. Depreciation account debit 5,000 to machinery account 5,000. So in this way, when there are two-sided errors which you come across, you can rectify it by passing a proper journal entry so that the correct effect goes into the correct account. I hope it's clear. So this was entirely related to when the errors were identified before the preparation of trial balance and you have gone ahead and rectified them when they were one-sided and two-sided. Now I will go to the part where you have prepared the trial balance and your trial balance did not tally. So what happens at that point of time? You would put that difference into suspense account and you would start with the preparation of your final accounts and have a team working on identifying the errors. So when you're identifying the errors, as well as you identify, you would pass the rectification entry. Now, in this also, at this point of time also, when you identify the errors, you can come across two types, one-sided errors and two-sided errors. Now, when it is a one-sided error, means only one account you have made a mistake, then at that point of time, you would undoubtedly use the suspense account to rectify that particular error. Whatever account there's a mistake, that account you would give the correct effect and the other effect you would give to the suspense account. So this is the place where in rectifying the errors, you're going to be using suspense account guarantee. Second type you can come across is two-sided errors. Normally, when the effect is on both the sides, you would normally pass a normal journal entry by giving the correct debits and credit to the correct accounts and you would rectify it. You would not require suspense account. But sometimes when the error is such that there are two-sided errors, but the errors are require suspense account, then you might require to pass that. I will explain that through an example. So first, I will give you an example of one-sided errors, how you rectify using suspense account. So when after preparation of trial balance, you come across one-sided errors, you are going to use suspense account. So now look at this. Here, there are three examples given. Understand. First is sales book total short by 2,000. Now here, you've already totaled and put the difference in the suspense account and you have found that there was an error that you have totaled the sales book short. Means sales book total goes into the credit of sales account, but you have totaled it 2,000 less. So 2,000 less has gone to the credit of sales. So what should you do? You should put that 2,000 to the credit of sales. So you credit sales account and the other effect would be given to suspense account. So the rectification entry would be suspense account debit 2,000 to sales account. So this way you're using suspense account. Next, let us look at the next question. Goods purchased from Amit posted to debit of Amit account 5,000. Now there was good purchased from Amit. So in this case, you have purchased goods from Amit. So it should be purchase. If you pass journal entry, it will be purchase account debit to Amit account. This would be the correct entry. But when they posted to debit of Amit account. Where should it have gone? To the credit. But it has gone to the debit. Debit of Amit account, which is wrong. So now to rectify, what are we supposed to do? We know that we should give a credit of 5,000, but we have to also nullify the debit effect of 5,000. So therefore, we would credit Amit account with 10,000. Why 10,000? 1, 5,000 to nullify this debit effect of 5,000 and another 5,000 to create the credit effect as a result of this purchase. So we'd credit Amit account and the debit would go to suspense account. So suspense account debit to Amit account 10,000 would be the rectification entry. I hope that is clear. Moving further, one more question we'll do. Goods 4,000 returned by Sharma. So when goods are returned by Sharma, it is basically sales return or return inward. Now it has been entered in sales book, but by mistake where the entry has gone to sales book and posted to credit of his account. So when this goods returned by Sharma, normally what is a journal entry? You would have to debit the sales return account and you would credit the supplier, that is here Sharma account. This would have been the entry or the effect. Sales return to be debited, Sharma to be credited. So what has happened? They have entered it in sales book. So sales return effect has not gone. One noted. Second, by mistake it has gone to the sales account. So that sales credit. In sales book, it will go to the credit of sales. That is wrong. So that has to be nullified. So 1 here, 2 this. This credit has to be nullified. And third, and posted to credit of his account. It has been posted to credit. So there is no problem here. Credit effect has gone correctly to Sharma account. So only problem is in sales and sales return account. So we will be passing the entry 1 to nullify the credit to the sales. We would debit it. So sales account debit 4,000. It is actually sales return which was not recorded as sales return. So we have to now debit sales return 4,000 and the collective effect would be given to suspense account. So the rectification entry is sales account debit, sales return account debit 4,000 each to suspense account 8,000. So this is how we use suspense account in rectifying this one-sided error. So now moving back again, so this I've made it clear to you, I hope. Now the two-sided errors. When there are two-sided errors, normally you can rectify it using a journal entry, but sometimes you might require to use suspense account as well. So I will explain it with few examples to make it more clear to you. So first is an amount of 3,000 due from Suresh. So this amount was receivable from Suresh. Had been written off as bad debt in the previous year. So in the previous year, we thought, okay, he's not going to pay, let us write it off, and we wrote it off as bad debt. But was unexpectedly recovered. So you did not expect the recovery, but now Suresh came back and paid that amount. And it has been posted to personal account of Suresh. When any of the amount which is written off as bad debt in previous year is collected in subsequent year or years, you have to record it as bad debt recovered. It is a gain for the business. So it should have been credited to bad debt recovered account. But what happened? They posted it, means it has been credited to personal account of Suresh. So you have credited Suresh account. So that's a mistake. You should not have credited Suresh. So first thing, you know that you have to nullify the credit effect of Suresh. So you debit Suresh. Suresh account debit 3,000. And where should it have gone? Bad debt recovered. So you credit bad debt recovered account, and this is how you rectify the entry mistake you have made. Hope it's clear. Now we'll go to one more. A sale of 3,000 made to Amit. So there was a sale made to Amit. So Amit to sale would have been entry was correctly entered in the sales book. Sales book, there's no problem, but wrongly posted to debit of Sumit account. So it should have gone to the debit of Amit 3,000. So his debit 3,000 should have gone. That did not happen. What happened? While posting, they posted to Sumit account. They have debited, and that also wrong amount. So now how do we rectify this? It has been entered in sales book, means it has gone correctly into the sales account. So you can eliminate that. Sales account is not involved. Only Amit and Sumit account is involved. So what has happened? It should have gone to debit of Amit, which has not gone. So now to rectify it, you put it to the debit of Amit by debiting Amit account with 3,000. And by mistake, you have debited Sumit with 300. Rectified by crediting him by 300. But still, there is 2,700 difference because the amount also was put wrong. So that 2,700 you would credit to suspense. So do you see here that although there are two accounts involved and the effect is going to two accounts, still you have to use suspense account. So there is a possibility. So after preparation of trial balance in two-sided errors also, you can be using suspense account in this type of errors. Further, one more we will do. A credit sale to Ramesh rupees 1,500 has been wrongly passed through the purchase. So basically transactions credit sale to Ramesh. So the entry should have been, if you take a journal entry, it is Ramesh account debit to sales account 1,500. But what has happened? They have wrongly passed through purchase book. Means through the purchase book means it would have gone as a credit purchase. So it would have gone as purchase to Ramesh. So now, one, there's a mistake. It should not have gone to purchase. And second, it should have gone to the sales. And third, in the Ramesh's account also there's a mistake because when passed through purchase book, Ramesh account would have been credited with 1,500. But actually you should have debited Ramesh with 1,500. So now to rectify. First we'll take Ramesh account. We should have debited Ramesh account with 1,500 because it was a credit sale. So we have not done that. So we will now debit Ramesh account 1,500 for the credit sale and one more 1,500. Why? Because we passed through purchase book, and so when through the purchase book it went to Ramesh account, it went to the credit of Ramesh. To nullify that credit effect, now we will debit him with 1,500. So totally you would be debiting Ramesh account with 3,000. And you credit sales account which was not credited before, and you have to nullify the debit to purchase account because it is not purchase. So you would have to credit purchase. So the rectification entry is Ramesh account debit 3,000, sales account to purchase account. So friends, I hope with this session now it has become crystal clear to you that when you use the suspense account and how you go about rectifying the errors. If you found this video useful, please do like it and leave your valuable comments in the comment section below. And if you're watching my video for the first time, please do, or if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel so that you'll get notifications of all my upcoming videos. And you can also access several other concept videos related to the accounting of 11th and 12th syllabus. So, thank you guys. Have a great day.